Hello everyone, Ryan here with Product Impressions, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. You can tell we're not in the standard room that I'm usually filming these in. Most of the time when I'm reviewing products, I use it for a couple of weeks, a few weeks. If it's clothing, maybe a few months, and then I'll do a review. But this is something that I have been using for years at this point, probably about 20 years. And because of that, I would say it is the best investment I have ever made in a product, and that is a set of hair clippers from Wahl. Now, things have changed over the course of the last 20 years since I bought this. I believe it was about $40 at the time that I bought it. I have been using it, same set, never had to be replaced, still runs perfectly the entire time. I bought it for about $40. I think modern ones, they'll cost about $80. But still, at the same time, when I bought this, the cost of a haircut was typically about $20. And if you keep your hair short like I do, you end up getting haircuts every couple of weeks. So yeah, ultimately an investment of $40 here has probably saved me a couple $1,000s over the past 20 years, probably more. I have not actually done the math. If you want to do the math and leave it in the comments, you can feel free to do that. But so today I'm going to be taking a look at the Wahl hair clippers, and also I have some other sets of guards that I have decided to buy just to get a little bit more control over the haircut itself. So let's go ahead and show you how you can just cut your hair at home and save money with Wahl hair clippers. What you find easiest may depend on the exact style that you want to go with. Mine tends to be fairly standard. I do just about the same thing every time. It's gonna come with a nice long comb, which is going to be useful. And I'm gonna go ahead and dampen my hair just a little bit so that I can control it a little bit better. As you can tell, I like to have a little bit of a line here demarcating the longer part on top and the shorter part on the side. So I'm just going to comb that into a part, and I use a number 3 guard when I'm going up the side here. I use a number 3 guard when I'm going down the side. So in order to make sure that I have that line, I'm going to use the comb and the guard. Hold it so that there is a solid line there, and then just run the clippers down. All right, so there is the line demarcating the side and the top. Got a little bit more back there I want to get. I'll get that in more detail later. And I'm going to go ahead and do something very similar on the other side as well. All right. And the other main point that you want to note as far as making sure that things look smooth, in the extra set of guards that I got, we have clips that have angles on there so that you can get up around the ears and make sure that things are tapered nicely without there being any hard lines. Having hard lines on there is something that I have dealt with for quite a long time, but that's part of why I decided to get some new guards to make things a little bit smoother. So this one's labeled as the left, and it's meant to go up and over the ear like so. This way you can kind of get a line as far as how you can run it over the top of the ear. And I actually use the left on the right hand side as well, because I want to end up having the same kind of taper on both sides and further around than just over the ear. Sometimes it does help to go over it multiple times. All right. And I've taken that in a straight line all the way around to the back of the head. Now we're going to switch from the left to the right and do the same thing on the opposite side. It can be helpful to go over in multiple directions so that you know that you're cutting all of the hair. There we are. And all the way around. There we are. I'm just clearing off some of the hair from the blades in between. And let's go ahead and get more of it all the way around. This is just making sure that that taper's going to be smooth all the way to the top of the head where I have it longer. And I do this typically with just, for the back, I like to put my fingers in line with the cowlick, and then I don't even have to look at it. I can just run the clippers up the back of the head and know that it's all going to be the same length to the same straight line. And when it's in the cowlick, it doesn't matter if it moves forward or back just a little bit, because the hair is not perfectly straight and uniform there anyway. Looks like I've got a little bit here that I just want to get, so a little bit is not cutting. There we go. Right. Maybe because I haven't completely let my hair down, it was standing in a weird direction at the moment. But there we go. And I want to make sure that the stuff underneath the tapered cut that I made earlier is also blended in nicely with that. And this is where I really use the added guards, because when you buy a set, it comes with the whole number guards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each of those correspond to a particular length, the lower numbers being shorter. But when you get the additional guards, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this here, but this one is a 1.5. So perhaps that will be more helpful. You can see it's a 1.5, and this equates to 3/16 of an inch cut. That's a length that I have found that I like around the sides up to where it gets tapered. For that, I just go a little bit above the ear, and this is going to be more up to you how you want to do this. I find that just putting fingers down from the cowlick in the back lets me do the same thing as before, but getting a straight line all the way around the back and sides. In this case, I'm going 4 fingers. So basically the whole width of my hand down. And that is going to get it to blend in nicely with that taper I did previously. Just going up over the ears so that I can match it into the taper a little bit better and get a good idea on where it's going. And once again, put the 4 fingers from the cowlick and just go up the back. All right. Now that I've gone around all the back and sides, it's looking pretty nice, but I do want to make sure that I get the top just a little bit. And this is where I use other supplementary guards, because I did it with just the 8 for a very long time over the top, and I found that to be just a little bit shorter than I ultimately wanted to go. So you can also get guards that are longer. Here I'm going to be using a 10 guard. So let me just clean this up a little bit. Throw on that, and now we just go over the top. Sometimes with the longer guards, it does take a little bit of coaxing for the hair to stay in this straight direction so that you can get it all. Otherwise it'll end up getting a little bit patchy when you're using a longer guard like this, because the strength of the hair doesn't always hold it straight into the blades. However, that is going to depend on the texture of your hair as well. And it's useful to go in multiple different directions, because as you push the hair in one way, it's going to want to stay in that direction. You can push it the other way to make sure that you're getting everything. It'll make everything nice and uniform. Just want to make sure that it's all done appropriately. You can still see him getting little straighter, longer hairs that are still getting cut. And that's probably pretty good there. If you want to stop at this point, you pretty much could. This is a nicely done haircut. There are a few other things that I do like to do to make it a little bit cleaner, and that typically involves not using the guard for some of it. So just to make sure that things are nice and clean around the edges, you can just use it unguarded and flip it over and just drag it over the top of the ear and just behind. Sometimes you can push the hair towards where you're clipping it. This will just make sure that it's a nice clean line around the edge. Now if you want to straighten out the line across the back of the neck, this is where it'll be useful to use a cell phone. You can turn it on to your camera, flip it around to the selfie camera and zoom in, and then in the mirror you can see the line that you are drawing on the back of your neck. This is one that may take you a little bit of practice. You might mess it up a little bit once or twice, but once you get the hang of it, it is quite easy. You can just kind of clean up some of the random little fuzzy hairs that come up. And just looking in the cell phone camera, I can see the line that I'm drawing. Flip around hands to get the other side. I can see that I've got kind of a rough line there, so I'm going to go ahead and smooth that out on the back of the head. I used a 1.5 before, so I'm going to go ahead and just go up the back with a 3, see how that ends up looking. I know I did that previously, but perhaps I've got a little bit off. This is where a little bit of experimentation can come in. I haven't typically done... Apparently I went higher up with the 1.5 than I usually did in the past, so now I went up with the 3, and now let's just switch to the next shorter one, which is the 2, and this is going to smooth out that line that you see across the back of the head. Just basically going until I can hear the hair getting cut. And you can see that the line's going away. Smooth it out just a little bit more. And on the clippers, you've also got a little handle on the side here, which allows you to do some shorter adjustments. I can push that down, get the guard just a little bit longer, and do the same thing again. There we go, that line is pretty much gone. No more harsh line across the back. It's going to smooth out nicely. Looks like I do have a little bit of extra long hair up around the cowlick, so let's go ahead and touch that up. I'm going to switch back to the 3, since that's what I've been using for the longer hair in the back and sides thus far. Getting right up to that cowlick there. Much better. Alright, once again, that's pretty much it. If you want to stop there, depending on how you like to comb your hair, if I like to have it as a little bit of a part, a little bit of a direction to it, you can kind of see that it hangs over the previously cut part here. And if I want to make that a nice smoother line, I can just keep pushing it to the side, and I'm using a 3 just like I did before, and just kind of going up the part that sticks out of the comb. This is going to blend it in nicely to the top. There we are. No harsh lines on top there, everything kind of blends in nicely together. I do like to poof it up in the front a little bit. There we go. That is pretty much it as far as how to cut your hair. Here we are, one day later after I've had a chance to rinse off and do some normal styling, things like that. You can tell things definitely do look better once you've had a chance to actually, rinse out all of the hair that you just cut off that might still be up there, and just kind of get things cleaned up a little bit. So I also did want to mention that it is good to maintain the set of clippers. Otherwise, you're not going to be using them for 20 years the way that I have. And basically, all that maintenance includes is putting on some hair clipper blade oil. Here we can see that. All you have to do is just put some of this on the blades and let it run for a few seconds after every 2 or 3 times that you give yourself a haircut. So ultimately, that's really all that there is. My personal way of styling this is just making sure that there's no harsh lines or anything around my head, and otherwise, you can see my hair in basically all of the videos that I've done for the past 4 years or however long I've been doing this. So hopefully this has been of some use to you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I'll do my best to answer whatever I can. Otherwise, hope you like, share, subscribe. I will see you next time.